Welcome back. We are joined by Luis Enrique Negrón, Executive Director and COO of 100 Black Men of Atlanta. He's going to discuss a deeper take on, can a woman raise a man? Luis is a father, husband, and an ordained minister. Welcome, Luis.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here today.
Well, you know, we're going to put you in the hot seat.
I'm ready for it.
You see the smoke coming from behind your chair right now.
So come on, let's start with this topic. Do you believe a woman can raise a man?
I do not. I think she can influence a man. I think she can actually be in the life of a man, of a boy, to grow into a man. But when I look at it through my experiences and in having two boys and doing a parallel parenting plan, is that a boy is always going to need, physiologically, spiritually, to understand, to have certain discussions with the father or male figure in their life to understand that. I have 4 daughters. So for me, is when I look at my daughters, I can only raise them to a certain point. There's certain things I cannot comprehend because I'm not a woman. And I think it's the same way when you look at a woman raising a young man.
Maria's giving you the side eye.
I see.
Well, I'm curious about your experience that shaped your beliefs or, the way that you think. Like, what was your experience like with your mother?
Well, growing up, I had a mother and a father, so I had a 2-parent household. And I was primarily raised by my mother because my father worked. He was a garbage man, so his hours were very odd. He went to sleep very early, 7 p.m. He would come home at about 8 o'clock. By then, I was at school. But I just know once I got to a certain age, it was very important for him and questions that he could answer for me as a man, especially going through puberty, and then having an understanding of what it's like to maneuver as a male, especially a male of color, within society. I was blessed to have, in Oakland, California, I was blessed to have mentors who also assisted me through programs there at like the Omega Boys Club and Dr. Asa Hilliard, who, God bless him, had passed away, but they were mentors for me at that time. And along with my father, it just was important to have, again, a male voice, a male be able to just feed into me what their energy is like.
Yeah. I think that, in today's society, and we see it all, the definition of a man seems very fluid. What do you say to the examples that we have in the media, in our own personal lives, men who have grown up to be strong leaders, strong fathers, who didn't have their fathers in their lives growing up?
What I found in my experience, there's always a certain part of that person's the person of a male. There's a little boy inside of him who has a longing. And, I found that out, especially through my therapy sessions that I went through when I became a man, is that there was a certain part of me that was still missing the connection, a male connection. And I think that the leaders who I know today and other brothers, by my age, we talk about that.
Yeah.
That there's a certain connection that the little boy inside them, there's that voice that they wish could be comforted in a certain way. And you have to deal with it later on. But, for me, it's a matter of, I look at our organization of 100 Black Men and the connection we make with women who are raising boys. They come to us and say, can you assist? Can you help? Because they say there's certain things, again, that we just need assistance with to be able to help raise these young men.
So what do those mothers say? Because I remember when 100 Black Men of Atlanta started, that you were working in Perry homes where the majority of the boys were being raised by their mothers. What are mothers saying they need from you to help them with their sons?
An example, our 100 Black Men, if they see it, they will be it. That's our model. And for them, it was a positive role model. Someone who has a job, someone that has education, someone that speaks a certain articulate way, someone who's did the pathway through education, and someone just to be a positive influence for them. And those were the things, and just to spend time. I think that's what the essence is when young boys spend time with other men, there's a certain connection that happens and it feeds off them. It influences them, the way they speak, the way they look, the way they feel about themselves, their confidence. And that to me is what I've seen throughout my experiences.
Yeah, I think right now with societal perspectives of women being strong and taking this whole independent perspective, for some reason it's like this one side or the other. You have to be for or against something. You can't be all encompassing, which is what I believe you're saying. You're very strongly saying women cannot raise men, which I think is very interesting to say.
Use your words, Chelsea.
Some of us are in situations where we just don't have,
Right.
So what do you say to that mom who's like, I am a strong, independent woman on Father's Day. I'm celebrating myself too. I'm doing it for my kids and that's all I need. How do you implement 100, Black Men of Atlanta or any other program that could help them?
Well, I would say kudos. Unfortunately, I do understand that there are many women in that situation who are disconnected either from the father or from an opportunity to be able to connect with an organization. I say, I wish them the best. As far as celebrating Father's Day, that's a personal opinion on that. I just know that, that day is reserved for fathers. And I know, like, for me, raising my daughters, if I was to go on this on Mother's Day and say, I want flowers too, I know many people would look at me very strange. But again, there's opportunities that are there in certain communities for them to speak out. We get calls from all across the country for people to be able to connect with us, especially mothers. There doesn't go a day that a mother doesn't contact our office. And they're just seeking assistance and guidance. And so whether we return a call, connect them with someone in the community, those are things that are important. I will tell you that our newest initiative with the 100 Black Men of Atlanta in the state of Georgia, DFACS, the Department of Family Children's Services, is the Fatherhood Initiative. And this is where we're reconnecting fathers with their children in the system. And, some people say co-parenting. I say parallel parenting.
Okay, stop right there.
Yes.
What is parallel parenting?
Parallel parenting is where two individuals have different styles of parenting. I parent my child my way at my house, and you parent my child your way at your house.
So those two sets of rules.
It's always two sets of rules, and it is ours. I apologize on that.
Yeah.
But you have to respect that, because what happens in one household is two separate households. You have to respect the different households. So it could be agree to disagree, or have a set of parameters that this is how we parent.
But how does that keep the child from playing one against the other? Particularly a male who is smelling himself.
Communication. And communication would then be written communication, a more clear communication, and you have boundaries around that. It's just a matter of understanding that if there's a man who's present in a child's life, what is the best way to be able to communicate that? And sometimes through the court system, they'll say either it could be co-parenting or parallel parenting.
But then there's toxic masculinity. There are some men who are lord over people. How do you handle that with a boy who's seeing his father maybe being abusive, seeing his father being a role model that is not conducive to good behavior or what you want in society?
I understand. I say that there's two sides to that coin. The mother could be the same way, or the father could be the same way. It just depends on the situation. Unfortunately, with that, if you see someone as toxic masculinity, that's where the community comes in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some people may not have a community to be able to fall upon to have those conversations, or have someone come in and be on the behalf to show something different. But organizations such as us, as the 100 Black Men of Atlanta, or other organizations that are present, that's where you can actually come in and we can assist that. We can't fill the gap, but at least we can show a way.
Yeah, I think as parents, we always are concerned about making sure that we're getting it right. Like, are they feeling this message? Do they know that they're loved and they're supported? And then we look at our own childhood and we want to be an evolved version of our parents, right? So how do you gauge if the parenting style is effective?
That's a very good one. I say what I had to do, and let me talk about how I unrolled it. When I first met Adrian, she said, if you want to be with me, you have to read Bell Hooks' All About Love. And when I read that book and the commentary that she had on the side of it and on every page, it helped me realize how I was not loved well. And I had to forgive the little boy in me for not being loved well. I had to forgive my parents for then understanding their situation and their experiences. And then that helped me reflect on me being a father.
Yeah.
What can I do at this point in my life to be forgiving of that with my children, and then be a different father for them who I am today? So for me, when I went through my divorce, I used to weigh 425 pounds. I had a stroke. I mean, I went through so much trauma, but they saw me work through that. I lost 170 pounds. I became certified wellness and life coach. I mean, I changed my life. And now that they're older, they speak on that. They're like, Dad, we've seen you transform. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. So I think, at least for me, and then what my therapist has told me, is that, for your children to see you go through such a transformation, and for them to see the resiliency, that is going to encourage them even more through their life, whatever they experience down the road.